Hello and welcome back to the Conquering Codependency mini course, lesson 5, called Breaking the Habit. Let's get started. A habit is formed when we get accustomed to doing things without thinking. There are connections that fire in our brain in a certain order, so when a piece of that habit is performed, you just know what to do. Conquering codependency is like breaking a bad habit. The first time you try will be the hardest, but the more you practice, the easier it becomes. We're essentially forming new connections in the brain and detaching our emotions from our actions. There are a lot of habits that may need broken. Habits like taking things personally, succumbing to triggering events, or even indulging in destructive behavior. Let's look at an example of a triggering event. A triggering event is an event that sets off a chain reaction of activities for you. And for a codependent, that typically involves going to extremes to cater to someone else. So in this example, let's say someone close to you asks you for money for something they claim is important. Now, you may not agree with the purpose for needing the money, or you may even adamantly oppose it, but the people pleaser or protector in you has already fallen victim to the habit. You quickly cough up the money in order to keep the other person safe or temporarily prevent them from doing something drastic. This behavior has become your habit pattern. This can be especially difficult when we love or care for someone very deeply. We don't want to see that other person fail or suffer any pain, and we don't want to say no for fear it will hurt their feelings. We're dead set on fixing that person's problems and trying to do the hard work for them. In reality, we may be causing more harm than help. We may be enabling a vicious cycle to perpetuate. And by realizing the cycle's force, we can begin to gain power over it. We need to begin using the energy we've spent trying to control others or protect them and channel it towards controlling our own thoughts and behavior. We are the only ones we can fix. In some cases, this involves practicing tough love and using some of the boundaries we've established. The other person will stop kicking and screaming once they realize it's truly up to them to make the necessary changes. Give that person the responsibility of handling their own problems, and only take responsibility for yourself. It may be overwhelming to think of all the habits you want to break. So one tip is to start small. Figure out a couple small habits you can break. For example, take a shower at night instead of in the morning, or take a different route to work, or start eating that healthier breakfast in the morning. Get yourself used to living in some tension by breaking the mundane tasks you're currently programmed to do. Who knows, you may even enjoy these slight changes. Some experts say it takes about 21 to 30 days to break a habit, so commit to it for that length of time. When you find yourself growing accustomed to your new small habits, and you relinquish the tension of upsetting your current routine, then move on to bigger things. Begin breaking your bad habits one day at a time. When it comes to establishing new habits, you may even want to build habits on top of each other. For example, first you get in the habit of journaling, describing your thoughts and feelings to get in tune with you. Then you use your new skills to recognize the tension inside during your triggering moments. Then you practice standing your ground and maintaining your personal space. Breaking bad habits and forming new, better habits will unleash all sorts of power within you. We had an in-depth discussion with a licensed clinical counselor, which largely touched on breaking the habit and moving into a real recovery. It's all in episode 2 of our podcast, which you can find at codependencynomore.com/session2, or there's a link to the episode right below this video. In our next lesson, we'll be discussing becoming and staying aware and practicing mindfulness, a skill that can help you achieve mental peace and clarity, as well as continue to get in tune with yourself more deeply. And again, if you want to skip ahead and see all 8 of our mini course lessons in one place, and get a bonus copy of our 70-page ebook called Codependency 101, Basics of Addiction, Grief, and Recovery, there's a link right below this video that will show you how to do all that. Otherwise, we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.